the advantage also in rushing yardage. Slight advantage to Clemson passing yardage-wise, but the turnovers are the key stat.
Turnovers are the key stat, and the reason they are, even though there's 3 for Clemson, 4 for Wake Forest, the fact that Clemson turned those turnovers into scores, and that's the difference.
And Wake Forest did not. They did not do anything with their turnovers. There is Donald Igwebuike getting set to kick off. Chuck McSwain, the leading rusher for Clemson in the first half, 56 yards and 11 carries, while Michael Ramser, the freshman for Wake Forest, 64 yards and 17 carries. We're set to go. Igwebuike's kickoff, well, that thing lands outside the end zone. This guy thinks he's in Mile High Stadium in Denver. He really belted that one.
You know, Tommy, you were talking about the guys, McSwain and Ramser. But the guy that comes to my mind is Daugherty, the big fullback. He's carried the ball 4 times for 35 yards. You'd think that you would keep with this guy. He's averaging close to 9 yards a carry. Obviously, Clemson they're keying on Ramser. Use that big fullback more.
I'll see if quarterback Gary Schofield and Albro and his staff take your advice. And the pitch out, well, here we go to freshman Michael Ramser again, the same way we started the ball game. He is a fine running back, and he sweeps left for a gain of 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4, and Mr. Pleasant of Clemson, Mr. Ramser of Wake Forest had a little run in there, but nothing serious.
Joe Glenn is going to make the tackle downfield. Now you see Ramser, there's 2 men blocking. That's going to leave somebody open. Perry gets a piece of him, but Joe Glenn is the guy that makes the tackle.
2nd down and 4 for the Deacons at their own 26-yard line. Man in motion, but the give is to Daugherty, the up back, and Daugherty rumbles over right tackle for a gain of at least 3. He may have the first down.
Depends on where they mark this ball. If they mark it on the line, the official had the ball on the line and moved it back a little bit.
One of those left foot, right foot deals.
Yeah.
That time he used his right foot, which was the wrong foot. Anyway, Wake Forest comes up with a 3rd and about 1/4 of an inch situation. I think Schofield, well, I think we all know what he's going to do with it this time. He starts a man in motion, but look at the defensive line of Clemson. They're gearing to stop Schofield. Whoa, look out. Schofield on the quarterback sneak. He got almost 7 yards in the first down.
Yeah, the man that does it is the center, Mike Nessel. Take a look at what the center does. Watch him screen the linebacker, number 56, Richardson, right there. Get Schofield that little extra yardage. There's Kennard, the all-pro or all-pro, all-American. He will be all-pro, I'll tell you right now. This guy's going to play in the pros.
Going to be a very high draft choice indeed. 1st and 10 for Wake Forest at their 36-yard line. Here's the pitch out to the man in motion, Ramser. And Ramser's got some running room on the right end. Ramser over the 40, and Ramser sweeps for 7 yards up to the 43. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Deacons.
Another great block by Daugherty, number 35, the fullback. You know, you always see the guy running with the ball. This is what makes it happen. You see number 35, Daugherty. Just see his feet right there. Look at the shot. He gets on the quarterback. Enables Ramser to get up outside and pick up the first down.
1st and 10 for Wake Forest at their own 43. And I believe we're going to have an offside penalty against Clemson. Somebody was in the backfield before the snap. And Danny Ford knows it. I don't think he's too pleased.
Well, that's Andy Hedden, number 12. Great.
That looks like a play I would pull.
Well, you know, the thing about it is, though, even though Ed was offside, you keep going with the play.
Right.
Because the whistle had not been blown yet. And you keep going with the play. Danny Ford is not too happy with what he's seeing on the field. But when that happens, it's a good rule to keep in mind. If you're offside, you know you're offside. Don't stop. Continue on with the play, make the official call a penalty.
All right, and the official did call the penalty. That's one way to get in the backfield quickly, though, Paul, is go before the snap. Nobody's going to block you then. And
you think those orange jerseys aren't a standout and orange pants?
I'll tell you, nowhere to hide. It's a 1st down because of the penalty for Wake Forest up at the 48-yard line. Schofield looking to his left. The throw, it is complete. Complete over there to Tommy Gregg, the flanker, sophomore, very young Wake Forest team. They're playing lots of freshmen and sophomores, and Gregg is 6 feet 181, makes the catch.
And they're working on Reggie Pleasant again. Reggie Pleasant is having his troubles on the outside. Gregg, you're going to see him. He's got Pleasant beat, just hooked up a little short, picked up 9 yards on the play.
9 yards, so it'll be 2nd down and 1 for Wake Forest. The lone setback is Doherty. The man goes in motion. That's McCummings. The give is to Doherty, and Doherty's got some running room up the middle. Doherty dragging tacklers with him. Impressive run inside the 35-yard line of Clemson down to the 34. 9-yard gain.
Doherty just drags Terry Kennard and Tyrone Davis with him. You know, just take a look at the power of this guy. This is what I was talking about. Here's a guy you got to give the football to. Richardson makes a tackle right here. Here comes Kennard. Look where Kennard hits him. Right here. Now Davis is also there with him. But look at how much further Doherty gets. He picks up another 5 yards.
You don't hit a big back like that up high and expect to bring him down right away. Schofield got all sorts of time. Over the middle, incomplete. Richmond had his hands on the ball down around the 10-yard line, but he was well covered on the play.
Well, Richmond has his hands on the ball. Here's Ramser. He's going up to take the fake. They're working on that side again to Pleasant. Richmond is there. Take a look at this pet. He should have caught the ball. He had both hands on it. Came down. He's looking to get hit, and he does.
He sure does. Pleasant was in on that play, and Andy Hedden sort of sandwiched him in. Now they go over to Ramser off right tackle. Negligible yardage. Play started at the 34, and that's about where it ended up.
Danny Triplett, the outside linebacker, makes the play.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down play. And about 9 yards to go for Wake Forest.
Now you worked a few passes on the outside. You worked some play action passes. You went to your fullback. Don't forget the guy that got some big gains for you in the first half. Go to your tight ends.
Well, Denfield, number 85, is the man that's in there now at the tight end spot. Schofield is looking back to throw and goes over to his left side. And the pass is complete to Dan Doherty.
Dan Doherty that time lined up the fullback out on the tight end position. He was up on the line of scrimmage, just slipped out to the outside. Just a little short pass to Doherty. Richardson's right there.
Now we have a flag on the play. The preliminary indication is motion against Wake Forest. Now that play only picked up 1 yard, so Clemson may elect to refuse this one.
Motion, offense, declined, 4th down.
So that'll bring up a 4th down play. And Wake Forest, they're in what they call 4-down territory, Paul. They're not going to punt. They're going to go for this, even though it's about 4th and 9.
Well, being down 16-7, you know, a field goal, you're going to need it somewhere along the line, but maybe they don't have the confidence in Newsom.
Well, Al Groh is going for it. 3-7. You haven't beaten an ACC team all year. You want to get one win on the board. Why not? Weiserek in there at tight end, and Weiserek, who is in motion, is open over the middle, and that's the 1st down. So Weiserek, a 13-yard gain down to the 20-yard line.
Weiserek goes down. Watch what he does. He just goes down to get an opening. They're dropping deep in the secondary. Billy Davis, number 24, is playing a little soft on him. Weiserek gets in the position, picks up the 1st down. Good call.
Big play for Wake Forest. 1st and 10 at the Clemson 20-yard line. Here's the give to the tailback, Michael Ramser, and Clemson is ready for him this time, and he is stacked up for no gain. In fact, Ramser did well to get back to the line of scrimmage.
He did get well to get back to the line of scrimmage. Benish, number 71, is the guy that had a first shot at him in the backfield, and he's limping.
That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. William Devane was also in on that tackle. You can look again at the Wake Forest helmets. Notice the standard logo on the left side. On the right side, a nice touch for the folks in Tokyo. They wrote Wake Forest, I guess, in Japanese. Now we have a Clemson player being led off the field. It looks like some sort of ankle injury, and that is Benish, who's played an excellent game as one of the defensive tackle spots.
Well, we talk so much about the big guy in the middle, Perry, but Perry doesn't play all the time. He tires. Now, if that's the case, it might have to do with Perry, get him to lose a little bit of that weight, about 20 pounds.
Benish is testing both ankles. It doesn't appear to be a knee. It's something with the ankle. Let's hope he's all right and is ready to get back in. 2nd down and 10 for Wake Forest at the Clemson 20-yard line. Tigers lead at 16-7. Schofield a long count, and hey, it worked. He threw number 83 of the Clemson Tigers offside. That's
James Robinson.
Big defensive end Robinson.
You know, you change the count up on these guys, especially when you get into this field position. He changed the count. Now, you don't know whether he changed the signal or he raised his voice, which they say you're not allowed to do.
How are they going to enforce that?
Offside.
Not with a crowd of 80,000 people here.
Second down.
There's no way you can hear it.
All right, so it is a dead ball foul, 5 yards, and it'll be second down for Wake Forest. This time, though, second out of 5 at the Clemson 15. Man in motion now speeds it up, and he has to get out of the way for Ramser as he gets the call, and Ramser batters his way down to about the 12 or 13-yard line before he's brought down.
James Robinson makes up for it. He goes back and makes the tackle. All right, here's the big guy just offside. Take a look at him. Fights off the tackle, and you're going to see Robinson come right in here and make the play, along with Willie DeBenny.
22 rushes, 81 yards for Michael Ramser, the freshman. Had an excellent year for the Deacons. This will bring up a big third down play here for Wake Forest. I'm sorry, second down play. The give is to Doherty, the fullback. He's over the middle for 1 yard. So that was third down. It was third down and 2 on that play. Doherty does pick up 1 yard, so we'll have a fourth down coming up. Fourth down and 1.
Watch what Doherty does to Hedden, number 12, when he hits the middle of that line. You're going to see Hedden come in right here. Watch him fly out of there.
You got a helmet right in the gut.
Well, that's the difference between 6'2", 227, and a young man that's well, they say he's 6'5", 230. I can't believe that on Hedden.
Fourth down and a few inches. Wake Forest is not going for the field goal, even though they're well within range. Fourth down in inches, just outside the Clemson 10-yard line. The give is to Doherty. He's got the first down. It's first and goal for Wake Forest at the 5-yard line. Kennard made one of the hits on Dan Doherty.
Well, take a look at Doherty. He does the same thing right now to Tyrone Davis. Watch number 37 disappear. You think Doherty isn't powerful?
I'll tell you, the center for Wake Forest, Mike Nessel, he stood up 2 Clemson defensive linemen all by himself.
Mike Nessel is doing a good job. 6'4", 241 pounds. Only a sophomore.
I've heard that phrase somewhere before.
Take a look at Wake Forest team. They got a lot of young guys on here, Tom.
Most of these guys are going to be back, and hopefully they will get better with age. All right, Schofield looking for the touchdown pass to Doherty, just off his right hand, just overthrown. That's a tough pass to throw, and throw accurately all the time, and it goes incomplete.
This is a situation where you take too much off the ball. He wanted to just drop it in his paws, but take a look what happens to it. Overshoots the man. He's wide open. There is absolutely nobody there. Throw the ball right at him.
He did not. The pass falls incomplete. It'll be second and goal at the Clemson 5-yard line.
Where they're lined up, they got to give it to Ramser.
And that's who gets the ball, and Ramser's inside the 5 to the 3. I saw a little bit of a loose football for a second, but he does control it. So that'll bring a third and goal from the 3. And again, Wake Forest has come close so many times today, Paul, and has come away with nothing quite a few times.
Well, they've got it. They'd hope to come away with 7 here, but they've got to get at least 3. Just don't make any mistakes. No turnovers. Plenty of time in the football game. Take it when you're getting it.
Third down and goal from the 3. Schofield, number 10 at quarterback. He's looking for Doherty. He's rushed. He's got to unload the football. The rush made that play. Doherty had no chance to catch it. Childers coming in hard, broke up that one for Clemson.
Childers coming in. It's a strong safety blitz. And you're going to see, look at the right of your screen. Childers is going to be back there. Really no chance for Schofield to get the ball up. And there's Doherty again. He's open. That's Triplett, the linebacker, trying to cover the fullback. When you get that situation, you want to go to the fullback. They had the right play call. They just didn't block the safety.
Now Al Groh is going for the field goal. Harry Newsom, number 18, does all the kicking for Wake Forest. Will attempt it. It'll be 20 yards in length. Angle to the right from the 10. Low snap, but a good hold, and the kick is up. It's good. So Wake Forest draws closer. Our score was 7:26 left in the third quarter. Clemson 16, Wake Forest 10. We'll be back at the Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl in just a moment. Mirage Bowl in the third quarter. Wake Forest with that field goal, Paul. They took the opening kickoff of the second half, held it for 7.5 minutes. They come away with 3 points.
That's one of the things that the people always talk about, possession time. It doesn't make any difference if you don't score. And they end up with 3 points out of a 7.5-minute drive. That's not enough.
Harry Newsom kicking off, and on the return is Steve Griffin for Clemson. He took it at his own 5-yard line, rambled up the middle of the field, returns it 16 yards to the 21. And that's where the Clemson University Tigers will take over, first and 10.
Well, Clemson, you know, they've tried to pass the ball. Epley, when he was in, his last pass was an interception. Homer Jordan threw an interception before the end of the first half. Now let's see him move the ball on the ground.
I think the Tigers know now that they're in for quite a fight in this Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl against Wake Forest, as McSwain takes a pitch out from Homer Jordan, rambles up to the 24-yard line, gain of 3 in the play.
McSwain's going to get a good block from McCall. Even though he doesn't knock the man completely down, he gets a piece of him. Do you see it right there? The linebacker goes up over the top. McSwain picks up about 3 yards, I guess.
Well, they'll mark it at the 24-yard line, 2nd and 7. McSwain and McCall are the running backs to give on a quick opener. Off right tackle is the McCall. McCall's got some running room. And he's brought down, but not until he reaches the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Clemson. Rory Holt, number 5, the quarterback, had to bring down the ball carrier.
Take a look at him. McSwain's up close to the line. McCall is right there. They're not trying to fool you or anything. They're just telling you, we're going to run right at you. And McCall picks up good yardage.
So maybe that'll get the Tiger offense awakened here in the second half. This is the first time that Clemson has touched the ball here in the second half of play, and we're already past the midway point in the 3rd quarter. Homer Jordan, a long snap count. He's looking to throw a quick one over the line, and he has Bagwood. Bagwood makes the reception for 12 yards and a 1st down.
This was just a short dump pass. This looked like an audible at the line of scrimmage because they were all bunched up in close. He sees Magwood out there on Holt. Holt misses the tackle. The one thing you can't do when that ball is thrown out there, you got to make sure, if you can't get the interception, you have to make sure you tackle the receiver. Look at this. 6 out of 8. Magwood picks up the 1st down.
And we rejoin the live action, and it's McCall again. And McCall running frontwards and also with his back to the play, but with his legs still driving, picks up 7 more yards to the 41-yard line of Wake Forest.
Now they're going right at Wake Forest. It's been a long time. They're using that big offensive line to take Wake Forest off the ball. Got an injured player on the field.
Yes, we do. An injured player for the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. We cannot read his number right now. And right now, while we wait to see if that player's all right, we're going to pause for these commercial messages. We'll be back with a score, 16-10. I'm Tom Mees with Paul McGuire. We're back at the Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl. Clemson driving down the field now in Wake Forest territory. The injured player was Tony Coates. We think he's going to be all right. Just had the wind knocked out of him. Meanwhile, McSwain is breaking tackles and rumbling for a 16-yard gain off right guard down to the Wake Forest 26. 1st and 10 at Danny Ford. A little bit more pleased now than he was a few minutes ago.
He is, and he's getting another good block from McCall. The tight end blocks down. The tight end is K.D. Dunn. They open the hole up to the outside. The linebackers don't fill. And take a look at McSwain. 16 yards, 13 carries, 75 yards.
I tell you, I like these running backs, McCall and McSwain, for Clemson University. They're big, they're powerful, they have some size, and when you know, when I'm saying how great they are, they can cut down for no gain and swing. And I believe he's hurt.
Well, he landed on his head.
Holt came over there, really gave him a shot ball.
That play was another play that was supposed to be off tackle. He cut it to the outside. We're going to take a look at it right here. Watch him. I think he comes down on his head. There's Holt, number 5. And he comes right down on the back of his head.
And with 2 players on top of him, but they're looking at his right leg around the knee area. 14 carries for McSwain in this game, 75 yards. And apparently it is some sort of leg injury. And it's never nice when they're looking at that knee.
No. McSwain is a junior, 6'2", 190 pounds.
Our situation, let's take another look at this play and see if we can see exactly.
All right, it's his right leg now. He slips there. There it is. He gets hit right at the knee by Holt. Holt hits him right on his right knee.
Purely accidental, of course. Those pads, you know, they call them pads. I don't know if they are. They're more protectors. Those things aren't really pads, Paul. Those hard plastic pads. There's Chuck McSwain. Those things can really hurt you.
Yeah, you know, and the knee is the most vulnerable part of your body. There's just nothing there. And we saw McSwain. He had his leg planted, and when you hit it right at the kneecap, it's going to push the leg back. And that could be a hyperextension.
We have some live NBA action coming up for you. What a doubleheader this Sunday. Look at this. Milwaukee Bucks at the New Jersey Nets, 7:20 with the NBA tonight, 7:20 Eastern Time Sunday evening. Then the Philadelphia 76ers at the LA Lakers, a rematch of last year's NBA Finals at the Fabulous Forum. That game comes your way at 10:20 Eastern Time, 7:20 Pacific Time. So the Sixers and Lakers and the Bucks and Nets, what a night of NBA action we have for you this Sunday night on ESPN. And unfortunately, Mr. McSwain is being helped off the field, and it doesn't look too good.
No, and that's going to hurt Clemson, too, because this man has already carried for 75 yards.
Well, bring up a 2nd down and 10 for Clemson at the Wake Forest 27-yard line or 26-yard line. Tigers leading the Demon Deacons 16-10. Rolling right is Jordan. He's got a good block. He's looking to throw, gets it up, and completes the pass to Stockstill. Now, the only question, did he stay in bounds?
No, he didn't. The referee was right there and said you didn't get that 1 foot in bounds. Remember college football, you only have to have 1 foot in bounds. All right, we're going to see Homer Jordan rolling to his right. He's got McCall out in front. Good block there, and the ball is thrown a little bit high, a little bit too far. Take a look at it. No question about Stockwell is so far out of bounds. He knew it. He just couldn't get his leg down.
He got himself a photographer as well. Okay, 3rd down and 10 at the 26-yard line. Jordan. Again, getting some good blocking, rolling to his right. Now he's under pressure. He's got to throw over the right sideline, and his throw is way over the head of the intended receiver.
That's the other McSwain.
All right.
That's the brother. These two guys also run track, you know.
Rod McSwain, number 28.
Yeah, they run track, both these guys.
However, Rod McSwain had no chance of that one, and that'll bring up a 4th down and 10. And Clemson University is going to try a field goal now. Bob Pauling, junior, 6'2", 190 pounds, number 6. It is a 43-yard attempt, angled to the left. Pauling gets his foot. It will be plenty long enough, and the kick is good. So Clemson ups its lead over Wake Forest in the Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl. Our score, Clemson University 19, Wake Forest 10. We'll be back with action from Tokyo in just a moment. With 4:38 left to go in the 3rd quarter, Clemson has taken a 19-10 lead, and kicking off for the Tigers, Donald Igwebuike, and he'll kick it way deep to the 1-yard line. It's taken by Ramser, who's back to field it. No, let's check that. We'll have the return man for you in a moment. Anyway, he's knocked down at the 14-yard line.
Topper Clemens.
Topper Clemens. All right. Well, Topper was topped at the 14-yard line. Donald Igwebuike. I hope we don't have too many more kickouts. That's a tough name to pronounce.
It really isn't. Not for me. I just call him Donald, the same as Danny Ford. I did this spring game down there, and I want to tell you one thing. And the reason he's on his team, he's the only Donald on the entire Clemson team. So all that Coach Ford says is Donald, they know who it is. He doesn't have to worry about his last name.
That's a good rule. I give Danny the nod there. Meanwhile, Schofield comes out firing, and he hits Tim Ryan for 88, just in the ball game for 9 yards, and a big gain in a big situation for Wake Forest.
Tim Ryan in from CBS to do this game. Here's Tim Ryan, catches pass. Good hook up inside. They were in a zone area, and he just hooked up in front of the linebackers and in front of the safety men.
I always knew Tim was multi-talented. Never knew he could go over and play some football. 2nd down and inches, and Wake Forest picks up the 1st down. They hand it to Dan Doherty. He gets up to his own 24-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Wake Forest. Now, you know, the Deacons are not out of this ball game, Paul, by any stretch of the imagination. Down by 9 with about 19 minutes left to play.
No, and this young man right here, I would give him the ball quite a bit and make sure that you work on him and make Clemson stop him, because they haven't really been able to stop him all day long. When you've got 3rd and 1 and you only get 1 yard, that's like a goal line defense. You're supposed to stop him. 1st
and 10 for Wake Forest, just over the 25-yard line. The pitch out to Ramser, and he's got a blocker, Doherty, in front of him. Reads the block well, but unfortunately for him, the pursuit is excellent. Ramser stopped after a game of 2.
Terry Kennard again, the All-American safety man. Now you're going to see a blitz on the outside right here that's overrun. He gets caught to the inside. That's Jeff Suttle. And then watch Kennard. Just gets him right at the ankles. No place for Ramser to go. Another reason why that young man's an All-American. Not only can he pass defend, but he is a super tackler.
2nd down and 8 for the Deacons, trailing Clemson 19-10. And in motion, backs in the I formation. That usually means throwing. And Schofield is going to do just that to Tommy Gregg. He gathers it in. A nice catch, and Gregg gets nailed at the 35-yard line. He got kissed from the rear.
Yeah, did he ever? You know, that's the old alley-oop pass. This pass was thrown, and it slipped out of Schoville's hands, and that ball just went straight up in the air. Craig knew he was going to get hit. The main objective, hold on to the football, and they'll do anything to get in the ball game here. That's a Clemson Tiger.
Yeah. Wonder how he got to Tokyo. Wonder if he hitched a ride on the airplane. Anyway, gain of 8 yards on the play, and almost getting decapitated is Hatch, the substitute running back for Wake Forest, and we're going to have a penalty here.
Face mask, no question about that.
That followed the excellent catch by Gregg, and Hatch was just, I tell you, that's a dangerous play, and that's the main reason why the face masking penalty is in college football, even though it wasn't intentional. Jim Hatch, number 34, the fullback, carried, and the penalty will give Wake Forest a first down up at the 40-yard line. First and 10. Jimmy Hatch, number 34, he's a sophomore. A lot of sophomores and freshmen play for Wake Forest. 6'3", 222 pounds. Schofield back to pass, has time. Over the left side and complete. Schofield to Tommy Gregg again. So Gregg recovered from that hard hit a few minutes ago to pick up 9 yards up to the 49.
Well, they're working out here again on Pleasant and having a tough time. Schofield, you can see his stats there, 22 passes, 32 completions, 160 yards, 13 completions, 160 yards. But take a look at Gregg. Now he's behind the linebacker in front of Pleasant again. They're just picking their spots. When you're playing zone defense like that, all you want to do is get it over the short man, and in front of the long man, you're going to pick up 8 or 9 yards of crack.
Clemson wants to find out exactly how close this is, and so does Wake Forest for that matter. It's about half the length of a football. The ball, for the record, will be marked. Actually, I guess the nose of the ball, Paul, will be right at midfield, but about 6 inches or so to go for the first down. And really, Wake Forest is in an enviable spot here. They pick up 9.75 yards on first down. They have a play to waste here at second down.
Well, against Clemson, you don't have a play to waste, really. If you're going to waste a play, if that's, you know, that is the terminology, Tommy. If you're going to waste a play, then what you want to run is some sort of play-action pass and try to hit your receivers downfield.
Well, let's see what Schofield and Al Groh and his staff at Wake Forest call. It's a pitch out to Ramser, and Ramser is nailed behind the line of scrimmage. Oh, my. Coming in there for Clemson, big number 82, Danny Triplett. I don't think he might have lost a couple of feet on that.
Look at the inside linebacker, number 82, Triplett. Watch this. He'll fight away from everybody, goes back to the inside. He knows he's got help on the outside, and what a hit he made on Ramser.
Hit him right in the numbers. Absolutely no gain. Maybe a loss of a couple of inches on the play. That'll bring up, all of a sudden, a 3rd down and 1, and a very big play for Wake Forest. They give us to Hatch, who's replacing Doherty. Now, Hatch had his knee down behind the line of scrimmage, but he squirmed forward. Let's see if they give him the first down or not.
Good news. Benish is back in the game, number 71. It wasn't that bad a hit on him from before. He's fine. Watch number 71. He gets rid of the tackle and back into play. Also, Perry is in there.
And again, we're going to have a measurement. And if this one is short, of course, it'll bring up a very short yardage situation, but on 4th down and at midfield and trailing by 9 points, it is short. So Clemson, for the moment, is held now. An interesting situation. Will Al Groh elect to go for the first down at midfield or punt it away?
Here's a key situation, and one of the things that you want to do is make sure of the play. Now, whether you remember earlier in this game now, he had a long count that drew Clemson offside. So Schofield may want to go do that again. You've got short yardage. And you talk about wasting the play on 2nd and 1, they wasted 2. Wasted 2 plays. You've got to be talking to yourself, 2 runs and you can't gain a yard.
Wide receiver McCummings brings in the play from Al Groh. The Clemson line is set to charge. The ball's in midfield, 4th and inches, and here we go again. And contact was made before the snap, and that's encroachment or offsides, and Wake Forest picks up the first down the easy way, as Jimmy Scott looked like he just couldn't wait to get at the Deacons running back.
Again, whether Schofield changed the play or they had it on a long count, it's a smart call. I don't care how you look at it.
So the ball marched down to the 44-yard line of Clemson. Offside is the official call against the Tigers. Actually, from where I sit, that ball is right on the 45-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. 19-10 our score. We're nearing the end of the 3rd quarter. Clemson leads Wake Forest, but back to throw is Gary Schofield. Over the middle, it is complete. to Richmond. David Richmond, the split end, has it for 14 yards and a first down to the 30-yard line.
Well, this young man is having a super day. Now, you see Hedden dropping back. Everybody's dropping back, and he just goes into a zone. They're playing a zone defense. Richmond is right in the middle. Almost bobbled that ball. That's a super catch. And Pleasant wasn't to be found again.
Come to mama. Don't lose that football. We'll have to pick a Vitalis MVP in this game, and right now it's up for grabs. And there's a ball up for grabs for the touchdown. Maybe no. McCummings was back there in the end zone, but that wasn't McCummings. That was Tim Ryan. Number 88, not number 28. Tim Ryan was back there, but he was well defended.
All right, now you're going to see Mr. Pleasant getting back. Number 29. That's Ryan there. He's getting help. Pleasant is back there. Number 43, Terry Kennard, the All-Pro, or we keep saying that, All-Pro, All-American safety. He will be, I hope so. But he's the guy that gets his hands in his face. Now, that could have been called face guarding.
It sure could have been, but it was not. And here's the give to Ramser. Ramser is nailed again, but hey, he breaks one tackle and he picks up 3 or 4 yards in the play. Ramser spins down to the 27-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play, and with that play, let's take a look at it again.
James Robinson, number 83, I think that's him. He's the man that has him in the backfield. Then number 82, Danny Triplett, comes up, makes a hit on him. Ramser, again, 179 pounds, strong football player. Hey, all right.
They have crazy people in Japan, too.
Well, at 48 degrees, that's not too bad.
That's the end of the third quarter of play in the annual Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl. Our score on ESPN, Clemson 19, Wake Forest 10, but Wake Forest is driving. Paul McGuire and yours truly, Tom Mees, will be back with the fourth and final quarter in just a moment. We have 11 minutes, 57 seconds left to go in this ball game, and Paul, Wake Forest does end up losing this game. They can't say they haven't had their opportunities.
I don't understand the play calling in the last series of downs. We'll get to it after this play here, after we get this play.
Uh-oh, somebody jumped offside. It looked like for Clemson on that left side of the offensive line. And that makes a bad situation worse because the ball was on the 1-yard line. It's now being moved back to the half-yard line.
Well, it looks like Gary Brown, who is the left tackle. You know, what I'm saying about the Wake Forest, of course, you're not down there on the field, but, you know, you've got the ball on the goal line. You give it twice to 2 halfbacks, 178, 182, and they can't get the ball. You go to your fullback, then you try a sweep. I think it was poor selection. The other thing, I'll get to it right after this play.
Well, the play is Homer Jordan. He elects to keep it the same play, and the quarterback sneaky nudges it out to about the 1. It'll be second down and about 9 yards to go from that point.
The other thing is that you're down at this point, and you need a field goal somewhere along the line to take the lead. Why not take the field goal then? You have plenty of time in the ball game. You're going to kick off to Clemson. You're going to put them in the hole again, but you're going to need a touchdown and a field goal to win. There's a close-up of old Denny Ford. Good guy.
A very nice guy, and
found his shoe.
Quite an able football coach, and it's too bad that some of the bad things that have happened in regards to probation has happened to an awfully nice fellow like Danny Ford. Meanwhile, Jeff McCall on 2nd and 9. Well, he gets Clemson out of a little bit of a hole should they have to punt. He drives up to about the 5-yard line. Eddie Green for Wake Forest, we see, is down on the field as Danny Ford looks on from the sideline. They're attending to Eddie Green. Green had an interception earlier in this game. Number 41, he's a cornerback, 5'11", senior, 165 pounds. Not too big to play in today's collegiate ball, but has plenty of speed and good hands.
And he's doing well. He's had a pretty good game so far. And he sure doesn't, looks like he doesn't want to go out of this game. There's Eddie Green, 5'11", 165-pound senior.
And right now they're looking at the area around the right knee, and that's always of concern. I've had many trainers tell me, Paul, as Al Groh lectures his team on the sideline next time they get the ball, what he wants them to do. I've heard many trainers tell me it's so helpless, a knee injury, because that joint just wasn't made for the kind of stress that football or many other sports put on it.
And it's really the only place on your body where you can't have any protection.
Yeah. Because you have to have complete flexibility.
Exactly. They got that little knee pad. I never could understand what that knee pad was for, unless, you know, for the guys on the sideline that kneel down on one knee, it gives them a little padding. But other than that, it doesn't really do anything.
All right. Well, Green walks off. Maybe he'll be back in this game. He's walking off under his own power.
I would imagine he'll be back.
All right, this brings up a 3rd down and 6 now. The ball has been nudged out to just over the 5-yard line. And Clemson would love to pick up a first down here. Big play. Wake Forest wants to pin him down here and get the ball back in good field position. There you see the way the running back sees it. McCall, he gets the pitch out. He's got some running room. Jeff McCall around the right end. And McCall sweeps right up to around the 10-yard line, close to the first down, but I don't believe he's quite at the chain.
Eric Betzler, the defensive end, has him in the backfield, has a good shot at him and doesn't get him. He's tied up a little bit at the line of scrimmage. Look at the pursuit. There's hole number 5 outside. That young man's been around the ball most of the day. They're going to have to punt.
All right, Hatcher comes in to punt for the Clemson Tigers, and this is the first time Mr. Hatcher has had to do his duties so far today. That says something about the way Clemson has been controlling the football when they've had their hands on it. Now we have some whistles. Hatcher goes through with a kick, but I believe that Clemson may have been offside again.
A little movement again. Clemson, for the 11th game of the season, they are making an awful lot of mistakes, and that's one thing that Danny Ford just does not like. I talked to him in the spring game, and he said, you know, we've got to eliminate the dumb mistakes. You should know what the count is.
Procedure.
On that drive when Wake Forest had the ball, they had 2 guys lined up offside. I mean, these are things that he just doesn't like, and especially in the 11th game of the season.
Well, that moves the ball. That penalty does back to the 5-yard line. There's Dale Hatcher. He's standing, about a yard or so inside the end line. Of course, should he step out of there, that would be a safety, but he gets the snap in plenty of time and gets a good punt. It's a high punt. I don't think there's going to be any return here. And good coverage by Clemson. And it gets a bit of a roll, and finally is, well, did somebody touch it for Wake Forest or not? The Clemson people are going after it like someone did, but no. Wake Forest will get it with no return, but they'll get it at their own 49-yard line. First down and 10 with 9:56 left.
All right, here's Hatcher. The return is on. You can see everybody back up and take off. A good high kick. Wake Forest makes the return. Look at that. Watch the orange jerseys converge. That was number 38, the flanker, Tommy Gregg.
And Tommy Gregg was put down just short of midfield, so Gary Schofield has excellent field position, but times are wasting. 10 minutes left, but the Wake Forest trails in this game 19-10. Schofield back to pass, looks right, telegraphs the pass, and it's intercepted easily by Clemson.
That's Mark Richardson, number 92. And you're absolutely right. Schofield did. He telegraphed this ball. He looked at the one receiver he's going to throw to. Take a look at it. Never looks anybody else off. Looks. Richardson is right there to make the play. That is Gregg. Tommy Gregg, number 38, is the man he was throwing to. But just take a look at Schofield here. Not looking off to anybody else. He's just going to throw the ball no matter what happens. And the linebacker gets out to the outside and makes the interception.
Well, that was like eating a piece of cake for Richardson as he made the play. Tucky Richardson, and first and 10 now for Clemson. They have the ball with 9:50 left in the game. The give is to Mack. We haven't seen him since he scored a touchdown in the first quarter, and he is stopped for no gain at the Clemson 44. The second down and 10.
Times are wasting inside the 9:45 mark and counting.
And Homer Jordan in there at quarterback. Frank Magwood, number 2, going to the top of your screen as the wide receiver. Clemson doesn't want to get too conservative here. Oh, those all orange uniforms. They look kind of mean in those orange uniforms. Jordan rifles it over the middle, intended for Magwood. It's incomplete. Magwood was stuck pretty well there.
That's Holt again. Rory Holt. All right, Homer Jordan got just a quick drop back pass, and he's going to try and hit Magwood, taking a slant pattern across the middle. Holt was there. The ball just tipped his hands a little bit behind him.
And the pass goes incomplete. Number 41, Eddie Green, is back in the ball game for Wake Forest, so we're glad to see he's all right. It'll be third down and 10 now for Clemson at their own 44-yard line. Homer Jordan with the backs in the I formation this time. He fakes a play-action pass. He's straight back to throw. Got all sorts of time, gives a pump, and he's going long. Eddie Green is back there, and he fields it like a center fielder. He's got the interception. The pass was intended for Jeff Stockstill, and Green makes the catch deep in Wake Forest territory.
Stockstill is looking because he had Green beat at one time, and Homer Jordan, look at this ball, goes up in the air. It looks like a punt. He throws it straight up in the air. Look at the height on the ball. You don't need that. You need distance. Green is right there, gets between the receiver and the ball, and Green makes the interception. Well, you got to get knocked out before you can get back and make a great play, I guess. Here it is. Stockstill taking a look at it. Now, see, he's behind Green. Green is now chasing Stockstill, and look at Green, just playing the ball, looking the ball all the way, makes the interception. Now you become the receiver.
And, of course, everybody has equal right to that ball, but let's hold everything. We have a flag on the play. And Wake Forest is the team that's going to incur the flag. Now, our initial information is pass interference. It could not have been on Green. No way that could have been pass interference. It may have been something like an illegal chuck around the line of scrimmage or a trip or something like that, Paul.
Well, they're still talking it over. Clemson's ready to go. The officials are trying to get this thing straight. We see the penalty. Here it comes.
Illegal use of the hands on the defense, on the forward pass, first down.
All right, illegal use of the hands, that's an automatic first down. And when that occurs on the forward pass, that moves the ball up to the 48-yard line is where they'll spot it. Ball on 1st and 10 for Clemson there.
It's one thing about college football that I would like to see to tell you who it is.
Yeah.
Like they do with the pros.
Some people say, why make these amateur athletes, why embarrass them by announcing their misdeeds in front of all these people?
Well, if you make a mistake, they're going to point it out in the films anyway.
Right.
And it's going to come out in the newspapers the next day. They always say who it was anyhow, so why not let the people at home know who it is?
All right, good point. Stock still in motion. Jordan, now he's got some pressure. He's going to have to keep it, and Homer Jordan gets up to midfield, give him a gain of about 2 on the play, before he's dragged down from behind. Making the play, Kent Simon, the outside linebackers, number 54.
This is just good pass defense. The rush is on. Homer Jordan's back. He's looking for receivers. They're all covered. This was supposed to be a screen to the left side. Homer Jordan sees that there's no place to go. Simons comes in, number 54, and makes the tackle.
So, the ball resting with 8:30 left to go in the game at the 50-yard line. Here's the pitch back to Flagler, who's entered the game now for Clemson, wearing number 33. And Flagler is dragged down, actually for a loss of 1 yard. New running back in there for Danny Ford. And there's some of the contingent from South Carolina that made the long trip over. There's a new man, number 33, with his back to the camera, Flagler.
All right, they take Katie Dunn out, and they put Alley in, number 89, the flanker.
Ball to Clemson, 49, 3rd down and 9. Homer Jordan, the pitch back to the new man, Flagler. Flagler tries to juke around one man. He's down to the 45-yard line of Wake Forest. And we have some flags on the field again.
Well, we're going to have a face mask penalty on Flagler. This is 2 mistakes that Clemson's made on 3rd down. All right, take a look at it. You're looking at people downfield that they know it's a toss. Well, that isn't where it occurs right there. That is not the penalty.
Oh, look at that.
There's just a couple of guys fooling around Magwood.
That's holding, isn't it?
Well, that's either holding or wrenching somebody's neck. Burgess is the guy he's doing it with downfield. They're really not hurting each other. But here's the 2nd time on a 3rd down situation where Wake Forest has stopped Clemson again, Tommy. Errors. You cannot make errors.
Defense.
Face masking call is on the defense, Wake Forest. And the officials continue to have a conference. I must admit I'm a little bit confused as to who did what to whom and where the ball will be placed. We'll just sit up here and let them sort it out.
Well, the flag was, when they were tackling Flagler, the defensive man that came up, and I couldn't see the number on the defensive man, but when the defensive man came up, he grabbed him by the face mask. It had nothing to do with Magwood downfield with Burgess. All right, you're going to see it here. Take a look on the outside. I think it is number 37 or number 87. Or is it going to be Green?
It's Green. Green got it right there. Well, actually by the helmet, the top of the helmet.
He's got him by the top of the helmet. That is not a face mask call.
Bad call.
There you see the flag coming out.
Danny Ford, he doesn't like it either.
He doesn't understand it because he didn't see it, but it's against Wake Forest, so he'll take it.
The officials have been marching this ball up and down the field. I'm not sure if they really know what happened. Now they're going to have another conference. Somebody's got a first down. We really wish we could be more clear in this situation.
The first foul was a face mask penalty against the defense. We got a dead ball foul, personal offense.
All right, so we now have the news that Clemson was guilty of a personal foul after the play, a dead ball foul.
Now that they might have thrown it on Magwood down there, chicken fighting with Burgess.
They might have done that. Now look, Al Grove comes over there and says, I want to know what's going on.
Does anybody know what's going on?
I don't think so. And you know what the beauty of all this? I don't think the crowd in the stands knows that there's any confusion.
Oh, now they're going to bring the ball back.
Yeah, I was waiting to see that.
Well, no. First of all, here's what happens. You got the face mask call, right? That's going to be a penalty, be first down. Then you have the dead ball foul after the penalty. You go to first down, then you bring the ball back.
Right, so you bring it back from the spot of that foul, right?
All right, girls.
Okay, when it all comes out in the watch, it is still Clemson ball. And we're right about at midfield, and the give is to Kevin Mack. And Kevin Mack is stopped after a couple of yards. Thankfully, there are no flags on this play. And Clemson has a bunch. They got to pick up about 25 yards for a first down.
Good point of attack by the defense here. You see Homer Jordan going down the line of scrimmage, and number 54, Ken Simon, is in there again. Getting a little help from Lightacre, who is number 49, a defensive back.
I think tempers are beginning to flare between these two teams. A lot of extracurricular activity after the whistle is blown. Ball is on the Clemson 48, or rather the Wake Forest 48. They give again is to Mack. Mack is rumbling for open yardage. He fumbles the football. It's just laying there for somebody to grab, and Wake Forest comes up with a football.
I believe that's, is that Hammond, number 87, that come up with the ball?
Either 87 or 77. To look at some of the capacity crowd here at Olympic Stadium in Tokyo.
Beautiful stadium.
Sure is. And a pretty good day for football. 48 degrees at game time. Temperatures dropped a few degrees since then. It is Wake Forest football. We do know that. And I also know that we have a full moon over Tokyo. Maybe that can explain all the flags we see today.
And we also have another flag. We got another roughing on Wake Forest that takes the ball back to the 16-yard line.
Well, that's where they'll pick it up. 1st and 10, and another flag on this play as Schofield tries to hit Topper Clemens coming out of the backfield as a safety valve. And we have yet another penalty. 6:45 remaining in this game.
Tommy, when you see a flag like that in that line of scrimmage, you know it's got to be a holding penalty against the offensive line, because that time Clemson did stay onside.
Yes, they did, and that's exactly what the call is. They'll march the ball half the distance to the goal in this situation. It'll still be first down for Wake Forest, but 1st and 25 with 6:38 remaining in the game, and the ball is going to be marched back to the 8-yard line.
Tommy, you and I mentioned the one thing that Wake Forest has done today to give the game to Clemson, and I mean it, literally give the game to Clemson, mistakes. They have made too many mistakes. Clemson down on the goal line where Wake Forest had the ball made a mistake, but they had a strong enough team to overcome that mistake.
Right.
Wake Forest is, as a young football team, they've played a super game so far, but the mistakes have truly killed them, and they have not capitalized on the turnovers.
Too many mistakes, and maybe that's one of the primary reasons why Wake Forest doesn't have a better win-loss record this year. 3 and 7 coming in. Clemson, of course, 8-1-1. Schofield back to pass from the shadow of his own goal line over the middle. It is complete to the split end, and that is Richmond. Richmond has the first down. I believe he's over the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 22 yards. He would be just short of the first down yardage needed.
All right, we're going to see David Richmond, number 3, coming out of the backfield. Now he's covered by 92 short, Richardson. He just floats over the middle, gets into an open area, goes up. Now, look at Craig. He was in the same place with him, number 38. He wasn't even looking at the football, so the pass we know now was designed for Richmond.
All right, here is Schofield this time to Doherty out of the backfield, and Doherty lugs the football up to the 40-yard line, but you guessed it, more flags, and Paul, I think you have a hunch what the penalty might be.
Yeah, we're going to have another holding penalty against Wake Forest. There we go, mistakes. And the thing about it is, this is the last game of the season for these two teams. You don't throw this film away. You look at it, and you make sure that your players are coming back, take a look at it, and see the mistakes that they made in crucial situations. It's a learning process.
And I would think it's safe to say that both these teams, but especially Wake Forest, will have a little bit to learn from this game. Now, the officials are trying to... Maybe they should give them an abacus before this game, being over in Japan. They're trying to figure out all the yardage totals and where they should mark it off from and what the situation will be.
Well, it's not too difficult to move it back when you take a look at where the marker is, and it says second down. You took it from that mark, which says second down, and 15 yards. Oh, we got clipping.
Second down.
All right. It's still the same length penalty. The ball's marched back to 15. What gets me, Paul, they go back and forth 2 or 3 times. And I guess they want to make sure they get it right. It looks kind of funny, though. Anyway, 27 yards needed for a first down for Wake Forest. Schofield has the ball. He's 16 of 28 on the day. Has the ball on his 15-yard line. He has plenty of time. He throws over the middle and incomplete. His hands are on the ball where David Richmond and
Terry Kennard just hit him as the ball got there. You're going to see the All-American safety. You see 43 right there? He's just dropping off. Now you're going to see his reaction. Excuse me, I'm sorry, that is not Terry Kennard. That's Matson, Ronald Matson, number 49, that makes the play.
All right, Wake Forest, time to go for broke. They have a triple flanker formation. Both running backs are in there for blocking. Schofield going to roll to his right. He's got loads of time. You need a sandwich back there over the middle, and it is complete to Tim Ryan, and Ryan gets an excellent block down the sidelines, and he's going to go 85 yards for a touchdown. Ryan.
Who would have thunk it? I'll tell you right now, you think about it, they've messed up so many opportunities, so many plays, and all of a sudden, Wake Forest comes out. Now, this is he keeps the backs in the backfield. Ramser's back in there again. He's going to get a block, but Ryan catches it coming across the middle. But watch the block he picks up downfield by his tight end. Wazorek, he's the guy that makes this play go for 85 yards, and Ryan takes it in. Wazorek, the tight end, made a super block downfield.
All of a sudden, Paul, it is 19-16. That's a play that not many people will remember, that block by Wazorek, but that's the one that sprang Tim Ryan loose with 5 minutes, 38 seconds remaining. Harry Newsom in to attempt the extra point. This could draw Wake to within 2 of Clemson. All of a sudden, we got ourselves a real tight football game. The kick is good. And the score with 5:38 left is Clemson 19 and Wake Forest 17.
What about the field goal you had when you were down on the 1-yard line?
And Al Grove may be thinking about that right now. Welcome back to a jam-packed Olympic Stadium in Tokyo, the Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl. We have a heck of a football game in our hands now. 19-17, Clemson over Wake Forest. Wake has just scored. Harry Newsom with a kickoff. Steve Griffin has the ball, fumbles around with it, picks it up at the 9, and Griffin is going to be hemmed in. Yes, he is. He's going to be hemmed in for good back at the 5-yard line. Great pursuit from the outside with the special teams of Wake Forest. So Clemson will have it, Paul, but they're facing a fired-up defense deep in their own territory.
Well, you can't make, you know, we've watched most of this game is a mistake-ridden ball game on both sides. The only problem, again, is Wake Forest couldn't capitalize on the mistakes. They're still back in this ball game. And Clemson, they've got him in the hole. All they have to do now is hold him here, and they're going to be a great field goal position.
Time a factor. We approach the 5-minute mark remaining in this ball game. Backs in the I formation behind quarterback Homer Jordan. He gives it to Terrence Flagler, and Flagler is stacked up for no gain. Great defensive penetration that time.
Pierce Brown.
Even digging. Pierce Brown.
Pierce Brown, number 37, fills the hole. Here we go. Terrence Flagler. He's in the backfield. That's supposed to be off tackle. No place to go. Brown is right there, number 37.
And also in there, number 77, Tony Coates. And there's the Clemson cheerleader. All of a sudden, maybe having a few doubts about the outcome of this game.
She's deciding whether she wants to cheer anymore or not.
Yeah. All right, it'll be second down at 10. Call it no gain on the play. Jordan rolling right, passing from his own end zone, and it is complete to Stockstill, and the referee rules it. Yes, he came down with the ball inbounds. Stockstill picking up about 7 yards in the play up to the 12-yard line.
Well, take a look at Stockstill. Just watch his leg when he comes down. He has possession of the ball, but watch his leg. Watch that left leg, not his right leg. That touches inbounds, and once he does that, all you have to do in college football is get one leg in bounds.
You know, I like that rule. I'd like to see that rule in pro football. Would you? The one leg in bounds rather than two?
It would save a lot of injuries, I'll tell you right now. You see guys trying to get 2 feet down and get nailed.
Jordan's got time. He's looking for Stockstill again, and Stockstill's got the first down at the 20-yard line. All of a sudden, Paul, Clemson, which is facing a fired-up Wake Forest defense, is out of the hole, 1st and 10 on their 20.
Well, Wake Forest thinking that they're going to run the ball and run the clock out. Clemson's not going to do that. They're going to come back, Stockstill both sides. Throws a little pass to the right side, now comes back to the left side of the field. You're right on the camera. Picks up the first down. I like this. They're not afraid to throw the ball.
8 of 13 on the day for Homer Jordan, 110 yards. Here's the give to the big fullback, Jeff McCall, and he rumbles ahead for about 4 yards. He got some good blocking on that play On the offensive line, Gary Brown, left tackle number 68, really made a crunching block.
You notice how both these teams have forgotten completely about the tight ends. Now they're going to the flankers because what happens, the defense makes an adjustment. Now they're starting to cover the tight ends, and the defense is starting to go one-on-one on the wide receivers. Why not go to them? Stockstill, you hit on one side, you got Magwood on the other side. Don't be afraid to throw to him.
Second down and 6 for the Tigers at their own 24. There's the play fake. Jordan scrambles away from the rush and completes the pass to wide receiver Frank Magwood. And Magwood has 9 yards on the play up to the 33, and that'll be another first down for Clemson.
Well, this time Magwood was lined up on the right of your screen and left of the offense, and he comes across the middle. He sees Jordan. He's in trouble. He puts his hand up. Holtz there, number 5. Great catch by Magwood because the ball was thrown behind him. Watch this. Watch his hands. Good hands here. The ball is behind him. Goes up, takes the ball. He knows he's going to get hit. Tucks that thing away. Holtz there. 9 yards.
And meanwhile, Terrence Flagler is the tailback in this formation for Clemson. Takes the handoff from Jordan and gains 4 yards. Up to the 37. It'll be second down and 6.
The run opens the pass. I guess you can also say the pass opens the run. Good blocking by the offensive line. Flagler ends up getting about 4 yards on the play. Steve Hammond, number 87, in on the tackle.
Number 33, Terrence Flagler, who came into the game for the first time. As you see the clock running with 3:15 left, Flagler is in for his second series of downs, and they give it to him again. And Flagler's got some room, but he loses the football. A mad scramble for the pigskin. Who's got it? Wake Forest says they do. The officials have not made any indication. What a big turnover this would be. Al Groh anxiously awaiting the decision.
Clemson's pointing that they have the football. The only guy that really makes any difference is that one hand. See it sticking up, going the other way? It's Clemson's ball.
And with that fumble, being that it was recovered on the 47, it's a first down.
All right, we're going to take a look at Flagler here. He's going to come up through the hole, and the ball is just stripped out of his hand, just pulled away. And this is what makes a running back sick. He knows I have no shot at it. My arms are tied. I can't get to it. That's Sally, the defensive end. I think number 84 is the man that stripped it away.
And somehow, even though there were nothing but gold and black uniforms on that ball, Clemson came up with it. Don't ask me how many times the ball changed hands in that pile. First and 10 for Clemson at their own 47. Clemson just wants to control that clock, run it down. Jeff McCall takes the handoff, stopped initially for no gain, but then gains a couple of yards, and another dead ball foul, another flag.
I think this has got to be on Kent Simon, number 54, for piling on.
No excuse for that at this point of any ball.
No, especially when your team has already stopped someone. I know you're anxious, you want to get the ball back, but again, here are mistakes again, Wake Forest.
And Al Groh is pleading his case to the official, but it will not do any good, and that's another 15 yards. And this will bring the ball all the way down to the Wake Forest 36-yard line. 37-yard line, first and 10.
Again, you know, well, we've been talking about it through this whole game, Tommy, and it's just a shame that in the 11th game of the season, both teams, not one, but both teams making so many mistakes and a lot of mental errors.
Of course, Clemson, I know the players have to be disappointed that they are on probation, especially the younger ones who will be coming back knowing they can't go to a bowl game or can't be on live television for a couple of years. Jeff McCall took that handoff up the middle, no gain. And it's still a 2-point ball game with under 3 minutes to play now.
But I do see a strong future for this Wake Forest team, Tom. They've got a lot of young people on this team. Offensively, they only have 2 seniors, really, that are starting. Defensively, they've got a couple of seniors, but it's mostly made up of sophomores, juniors, and freshmen.
There you see the clock, 2 minutes, 2 seconds on the clock, and Wake Forest has called a timeout to stop the clock. Now, one of the players is arguing with the officials saying, hey, I didn't mean to call the timeout. And Wake Forest has been charged with the timeout. You would think ordinarily, Paul, it's a bit early to start calling timeouts to stop the clock.
Yeah, it is. They've got to get this ball back. And the problem is that now they're going to have to go the whole length of the field. But to pass to Ryan, who'd have thought? 85-yard touchdown. It only takes one play. You know, that brings me back to that time of possession that everybody thinks so important. It's not important. It's what you do at the time. I brought an example up to you earlier that What if you take an opening kickoff and you run it all the way back for a touchdown? The other team takes it like Wake Forest did, the opening drive, use 7.5 minutes, half of the quarter, and come up with 3 points. You're down 7-4, but you have time of possession of over 7.5 minutes more than the opponent.
Who was it who said there are statistics? No, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yeah, that's right. The only statistic that really makes any importance at all is the score on that scoreboard.
All right, let's see what Clemson can do with it now. If they can keep this drive alive, or whether they'll have to give the ball up to Wake Forest for one more try. It will be 2nd down and 10 for Clemson at the Wake Forest 37 when we resume.
Well, I don't think that you're going to see Clemson. Now, even though they had it back in their own territory, the 5-yard line, they threw the ball to get out. Now they're in Wake Forest territory, 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go. I don't think you're going to see him put the ball up. At least I wouldn't put the ball up at this point, and I don't think Homer Jordan's going to, or Danny Ford's going to let him.
All right, the timeout has been, I've heard of timeouts before, but this is ridiculous. This timeout has been a good 2 or 3 minutes long. All right, here we go. It is 2nd down and 10. 2:02 left in the game. Clemson leads Wake Forest 19-17 in the Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl on ESPN. Here's the pitch out to Jeff McCall. The defensive charge is there, and McCall is dragged down for no gain.
Danny Rocco, the outside, the safety man, the strong safety man, plays this play so well. All right, you're going to see McCall coming to the outside, trying to get a break. He fights off the offensive back, and Rocco makes the play for a 1-yard loss.
That's right, actually a loss on that play of 1 yard, so it'll be 3rd down and 11.
Now we got another timeout.
All right, clock is stopped with 1:54 seconds left.
Field goal block, stay ready.
We talked a little bit earlier in the game about what effect the probation, recent probation may have on Clemson University, and now you look at it from Wake Forest standpoint. They wanted to commit to this game, I'm sure, Paul. They knew they were big underdogs. They wanted to be respectable. They wanted to play a good football game and hopefully have some momentum to build on for next year. They've been respectable score-wise, but they've also been sloppy.
Yeah. We've talked about it. Mistakes. That is the thing that makes a coach get ulcers, I guess, and gray hair, and go bald, and do all those funny things that it does to a head coach. Because you work on things, and you work on things, and especially when you get to the 11th game of the season. I know that these young men have had a great week over here in Tokyo, and they're having a good time, but they still don't forget football. They practice, they get their job done, and these are the things that the coach takes a look at. And things is, again, is a learning experience.
Homer Jordan on the keeper. He'll keep it and try to turn it up around the left end. He gains about 8 yards. That'll be short of the yardage needed to get another 1st down. He stopped at the 29-yard line and bring up a 4th and about 3 yards to go. And let's take another look with Homer.
All right,
Jordan.
this is the quarterback option going downfield. He just sees the break. Holt, he freezes Holt right there, number 5. Holt's either got to take the pitch man or the quarterback. He's got to make a decision right away. He didn't do that. Homer turned it up, picked up 8 yards on the play. And Wake Forest is not about to take another timeout. And what's going to happen here is Clemson's going to let the clock run down until it looks like you're going to have to take a delay of game. They do.
They do. See, Wake Forest is out of timeouts now, and Clemson, before they punt the ball, said, okay, let's just wait 30 seconds, get the 5 yards. It's not going to matter on the punt. In fact, it might even help Bob Pauling, the punter, with a coffin corner kick. So with 1:11 left, the penalty is called, and now Bob Pauling comes in to attempt only his 2nd punt of the day. And look at Wake Forest. They're rushing the punt coverage team in there in a big hurry. The snap, they've got a little bit of a rush on, but Pauling gets it off. And this one will go out of bounds at the 6-yard line. So Pauling did his job, only a 28-yard kick. There's another statistic that's really misleading sometimes. 28-yard kick, but I don't think he wanted any longer than that.
No, and you know, the thing about it is that Pauling is a good kicker. He's already kicked a 43-yarder. And they were in field goal range, but they didn't want to take a chance at having that thing blocked. So he figured that Danny Ford will sit on a 2-point lead. We'll run the clock down as much as we can. And that statistic is really untrue with punters. You know, when you look at it, even if a guy's kicking deep and he kicks it anywhere inside the 20-yard line, that gives him that much further to go instead of kicking it in the end zone.
All right, Wake Forest has got to come up with another miracle here. They got to go the length of the field with no timeouts and a minute left in the first play. On 1st and 10 from the 6 is an incomplete pass. Schofield looking for Tommy Gregg, a split end. Schofield's had a good day, 17 of 30 for nearly 300 yards.
I like Schofield as a passer. He started out very well. You remember at one point, Tommy was 5 for 5.
Yeah.
And then he threw a couple of bad balls. This is a tough situation. What he's got to do, and Clemson knows it, is that he's got to try to throw sideline routes. To pick up 8-10 yards at a smash and stop the clock by getting out of bounds because they have no timeouts. But he's going to get a ferocious rush from Clemson.
Oh, look at this. Here comes the rush in the end zone. And over the middle, intended for Tim Ryan, off his hands and dropped. It would have been a first down.
This ball was almost picked off.
Clemson putting on a rush, and the quarterback Schofield was about 6 or 7 yards deep in his own end zone. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 10 for the Deacons, and time is running out, literally and figuratively.
Well, Clemson now just drops a whole bunch of people back and hopes that they can get that 4-man rush, get to the passer, force him to make a mistake. Remember, he still has to pick up 10 yards, and the clock stops in college football on a first down.
Schofield firing over the middle, almost intercepted, and it will go as an incompletion over there for Clemson. One of the big linebackers, Chucky Richardson, to knock it down.
Chucky Richardson, oh, look at him. He's sitting right there in the middle of the field. He's playing 10 yards deep. Now he's reading the passer, sees the passer. Look at the range of this big guy.
Oh.
Because I'll tell you right now, Richmond was wide open for at least the first down.
All right, this is the last hurrah for Wake Forest. Schofield has to pick up 10 yards on this play. Less than a minute to go, 1917 Clemson.
Here's where you like it, the defensive lineman. All you got to do now, put your ears back and go after him.
Go. Schofield, he's being rushed, and Schofield is going to go down in the end zone. It'll be a safety for Clemson. There's the signal, and that runs the score up to 21-17.
First guy there, number 53, Joe Glenn, who had the great goal line stand for Clemson. Watch Joe Glenn. He's the guy. The amazing part about it, at the end of the play, all 4 Clemson linemen are there. Here he comes, number 53. Whoa. Joe Glenn. He's the guy that forces Schofield out. Then he gets the help from all of his friends. There's all 4 guys there.
All right, so the 2 points are tacked on the board for the Clemson Tigers, and with 43 seconds remaining in the Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl, our score, Clemson 21, Wake Forest 17. We'll be back for the wrap-up of this game in just a moment. Palace most valuable player, number 53, big defensive tackle for Clemson University, Joe Glenn. He's a senior, 6'3", 216, out of Columbia, South Carolina. Played a vital role today, putting some pressure on some goal line stands. Now here's the kickoff after the safety, the free kick. They kick it off the tee, and they try an onside kick. There's a big scramble for it. Of course, has to go 10 yards. Paul.
Well, the big tight end, first of all, Phil Denville is the guy that kicked it off. But he touches it before it goes 10 yards. Now we're going to also have a flag after the play. I don't think these two teams like each other at all.
Well, last year, you know, Clemson really laid it on Wake Forest on their march to the national title, 82-24. And that game was in Winston-Salem. So the Deacons have had it in for Clemson for a long time. The ruling is that the ball did not travel 10 yards, so Wake Forest cannot recover it, and it will be Clemson's ball. 1st and 10 on the Wake Forest 29-yard line. And there is the indication by the referee. 21-17 our score in a game that's had its share of good plays, but more than its share of not so good plays.
Mistakes, and they kill you in a ball game. And we can't say that Wake Forest hasn't had the opportunities to win this football game because they had it way back in the first half, Tom.
They sure did. There were 3 drives that I can recall in the first half of play alone where Wake Forest could have notched as many as 21 points. Maybe put this game out of reach.
Illegal touch by the kicking team. First down, Orange. We got a dead ball, personal foul here, 1st and 25.
All right. How many dead ball personal fouls have we had in this game? I think 4 that I know of right offhand in the second half alone.
I think it's more than just 4. But you know, there's no reason to get sloppy in the game and go after the guys the way they're doing it. Not after plays are over with. It doesn't prove anything. And you just saw the coach of Wake Forest a little while ago dragging one of his players off the field. And he was right in doing it, because there's no reason the players to get started in that mess. The game is now, for all intents and purposes, is over with.
All Homer Jordan has to do is take the snap and drop on it, really. Wake Forest has no more timeouts left. The ball is back for the record at the Wake Forest 44-yard line after the dead ball foul penalty, and Jordan just takes the snap, goes back 3 steps, and falls to one knee. And that, my friends, will be the final play of this football game, I believe, unless there was another penalty.
No.
All right. The clock has been stopped for some reason. Now they start it again. And this will be the final play of the game. Should Clemson even attempt the snap here?
No way. They just stand in the huddle and talk to the Homer, said, just stay right here. Don't go anywhere.
80,000 turned out at Olympic Stadium in Tokyo to watch this game between 2 Atlantic Coast Conference teams. Clemson will end the year 9-1-1. Wake Forest will call it a year with a record of 3 wins and 8 defeats, and that's the end of the ball game. The final score from Tokyo's Olympic Stadium in the annual Mitsubishi Mirage Bowl, the final: Clemson 21, Wake Forest 17. For Paul McGuire, I'm Tom E. saying we'll be right back right after this commercial message.